There is no lack of information these days. We do not have an information problem. You probably have an overwhelm problem. And overwhelm is one of the most unrecognized barriers to getting better with Hashimoto's. Welcome to the Health with Hashimoto's podcast. This is where you will find clarity and simple, sustainable strategies to feel better. I want to help you figure out your root causes. My name is Esther. I am a registered nurse. I know how exhausting it is to live with fatigue, brain fog, and the ups and downs of Hashimoto's. And that is why I'm here. I'm here to cut through the confusion and to give you practical steps that support your body, calm your immune system, so that you can regain your energy and feel like yourself again. If you have Hashimoto's, or if you're here listening because somebody you love has Hashimoto's, you probably know what it feels like to try everything. You've tried the gluten-free diet. You've tried various supplements. You've tried different protocols that you probably found, at 11 p.m. on Pinterest. The thing is, you're not lazy and you're not undisciplined, but you're just exhausted from doing too much of the wrong things all at the same time. And maybe those things are actually the right things. You're just trying to do them all at the same time. So you become overwhelmed and increase that stress. And of course, as a regular listener of the Health with Hashimoto's podcast, you know that stress is one of the biggest root causes of Hashimoto's and autoimmune problems in general. Stress is huge. And when we learn, implement, it can lead to overwhelm and stress. And that is the trap that nobody talks about. The search for answers itself can become its own barrier, because every new piece of information that you learn adds another decision. Every new protocol that you see and that you want to try adds another layer of stress. And stress is one of the biggest root cause triggers for Hashimoto's. So the plan itself can become part of the problem. So today, in today's episode, we're not adding anything. We're just settling in, resetting. Because the answer to Hashimoto's overwhelm is not more information. The answer is structure. As I have said over and over, the answer is simple and sustainable. Finding simple things to do in a sustainable fashion. In case we haven't met yet, I am Esther. I am a registered nurse. I spent about 17 years in the ER and got sick and tired of putting Band-Aids on chronic things, because chronic things are not an emergency, right? They might come up with some emergent situations, but most chronic things are not emergencies. And we just saw so much of that in the ER. They still do. I'm so happy to be out of that environment because it's stressful, so stressful. So I went back to school for holistic health education. And then later on, I realized that I have Hashimoto's, and I did the same thing that I've been talking about. I went on this search for answers, and I consumed so much information because at the time, there wasn't a simple thing to do. I had to put it all together. This was, 4 or 5 years ago. And really, the information has come a long way, I feel like, in that time. I didn't have the Health with Hashimoto's podcast at that time to listen to. I didn't have somebody to say, here are the root causes. Here is what to focus on. I had to put all of that together for myself. And I did have people saying, here are root causes, but I didn't have one framework to look at. I had to read books and listen to podcasts and watch webinars to get that framework, which I have put together for you. If you're not in our school community, it's Health with Hashimoto's. It's the community, and the platform is not Facebook. It is school, SKOOL. Go over there, and in our classroom tab, I have your root causes revealed in 1 hour. It is literally less than 1 hour of your time. I have a PDF that you can print to keep yourself on track, and then you have your notes to know exactly what your root causes are. Now, obviously, in 1 hour, you're not going to do any testing. So when I talk about vitamin D, you're going to be able to say, oh, I grew up in, the Northern Hemisphere, far away from the equator. I spend a lot of time indoors. I probably have low vitamin D, but you're not going to know that for sure. This 1 hour root cause revealed is common sense based. So at the end, you're going to leave with your worksheet filled out and you're going to know exactly what to focus on. I did not have that back when I was diagnosed. And over the years, I have watched women do everything right on paper and they're still not moving forward because for a lot of them, they're accumulating instead of strategizing. They're accumulating more and more things. And sure, they're trying different things, but maybe they try it for a short time until the next shiny object comes across their Instagram feed. And then, oh, I haven't tried that. I should try that. And then they ditch what they were doing because they don't have the bandwidth to add one more thing without dropping something. So they drop this other thing that they had been trying to add this new thing. But meanwhile, that thing that they just dropped, if they would have given it another month or two, they would have seen results from that. And now they're like, oh, well, yeah, that didn't work. Well, no, it didn't because you only tried it for a very short amount of time. And that one needed a bit more time. And please hear me very loud and clear. This is not shaming you. Not at all. No shame, no guilt. We are all doing the best we can at the current time with the information we have. It's just we only have so many hands and we're going to drop some balls. So overwhelm and all of this information, it is a detriment to our progress with Hashimoto's. Overwhelm is not a personality flaw. Overwhelm is a predictable response to a broken information environment, an environment where things are coming at us so frequently that we get overwhelmed. It is not you. It is the system. The information environment that we are navigating is not designed to help us. It is designed to sell us on things. Every search returns a new opinion or a new protocol or a new fear. The algorithm rewards engagement, not resolution. The algorithm on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, it wants to keep you there. It doesn't want to say, here is a simple thing. Try this for a couple months and then let's look at something else. No, the algorithm says, let me keep telling you more and more and more and more because I know you're going to look at that. This is not a you problem. This is a systems problem. But that means that accumulation is the enemy of progress with Hashimoto's. Our natural response to not getting better is to add more. Well, if I'm not feeling better, if I'm not seeing my solutions or my symptoms resolve, if I'm not having the brain fog go down, if I'm not seeing my weight drop off, if I'm not seeing an increase in energy, if my hair is not coming back, if my skin and my nails are not looking better, then clearly I need to add more. Have you ever fallen into that trap? The trap of wanting and feeling like you need to add more supplements or more restrictions or more tracking or more protocols. And every addition feels like progress, but it increases your psychological and your mental load. And then, of course, that increases your stress, which is one of the most significant root cause triggers for Hashimoto's. And so we just go in this circle. An overwhelming health plan, adding more and more and more, is a source of stress. The plan itself, that plan to keep learning and adding, it can become part of the problem. Adding more is not a strategy. More is just more. And it was partially, just teeny tiny, inspired by a client who made one Hashimoto's health session appointment with me. And we talked, she's doing fantastic. She is learning so much and she's implementing. She is doing a phenomenal job and she's seeing huge results, like ginormous. Her labs have gotten so much better. Her health has gotten so much better. Her hair is improving. Her weight is improving. Her energy is improving. Her pain is improving. She's seen fantastic results. And she wanted to talk about the holistic root cause reset. And I told her something that probably I haven't even honestly told my business people because they would yell at me. I told her, don't hire me for this yet. Settle in. I don't want to add more. And honestly, in the Hashimoto's root cause reset, we're not adding a ton, but we are doing work every 2 weeks. We're getting together or, whatever works for your calendar. We're getting together to look at the whole picture. How are you doing? What did you just implement? What simple and sustainable thing can you do next? But this particular person has done so much. My my instructions for her is just to settle in and let all of that get to be a routine. And then let's chat. Let's chat. Let's do the Hashimoto's root cause reset together, but let's wait a month or two. Just settle into the changes that you've made, because overwhelm and the accumulation of more and more things that you're trying, it is a stressor. Even if you don't feel stressed, even if you feel like things are working, which they are, we still want to keep overwhelm to a minimum. So for that particular person who is, like I said, doing phenomenal, I just want her to settle in for just a couple months. And then we will work together on the Hashimoto's root cause reset. We'll work together, every other week-ish for about 6 times to really get into the nitty-gritty. Like, what can we do next? The thing is, when you are feeling overwhelmed, when you are seeing all of these different strategies, our solution is structure. And that word for some people, like, I don't want structure. I don't want walls. I don't want rules. I don't want somebody to tell me what to do. But at the same time, if you are adding tons and tons and tons of things, that might be exactly what you need. Somebody to work with you and say, let's not add another thing. Let's figure out a framework that helps you identify what actually applies to you. I read a book a while back. It's called The Common Rule. And at first I was like, rule, I don't know. But the picture on the front is just beautiful. It is a beautiful image of what that book is about. It is a calendar, like just the grid of a calendar turned into like a rose trellis. And he says in the introduction that a rule of life, like things you do every day, rules that you have created to help guide your habits, they help your life grow and bloom like a rose instead of going all crazy and being scattered and tangled and not knowing, where the next bud is going to go. If you grow on a trellis, you're healthier and the whole plant, gets more air, gets more light. It is structured. So when I say the word structure, like I don't want you to hear like restriction and, shame or guilt. It's not that type of rules that I'm talking about. I'm talking about things that help guide our decisions so that we can have healthier everything and less stress. The solution is not to just keep adding more and more things. The solution is to develop a framework that helps you identify what actually applies to you. Because root cause work is very personal. Root causes, while there are some universals, genetic factor, gut factor, one or more triggers, those are universal, but your triggers and your specific genetics, your specific gut health, that's all personal. That is individual to you. So what you see on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, what the algorithm is feeding you for ads and for just to keep you engaged on their platform, that is not necessarily for your good. It is for the algorithm's good. One sustainable layer at a time based on what you actually need on your identified root causes, that one sustainable layer at a time far beats 10 unsustainable changes all at once. The changes that you implement need to be sustainable. They need to be simple enough that you can sustain them, and then they need to be sustainable so that they have time to work. So structure reduces decision fatigue. Structure lowers your stress load. Structure creates forward momentum. And this is what the Hashimoto's root cause reset is built to do. I don't ever want you lost in overwhelm. I don't want you paralyzed. What is it? Analysis paralysis? I've totally been there. Analysis paralysis is an easy place to drop into because there's so many things. Overwhelm leads to that. And both the mini course that's in the Health with Hashimoto's community and the Hashimoto's root cause reset, they're both designed to help you figure out simple and sustainable strategies going forward so that you're not overwhelmed. You're not increasing your stress. You're actually making progress. Because overwhelm is not the starting point. Overwhelm is the barrier. Structure is the way through. So the Hashimoto's root cause reset, I love to invite you in there if you're ready to stop accumulating more and more and more strategies that may or may not work, that may be just fed to you by an algorithm, or it might be something that even maybe something that you heard on this podcast. What I want you to do is figure out what is going to actually work for you as an individual person. What is going to work for you? What is going to be simple? What is going to be sustainable? How can you move forward? That is the goal. The goal is so that you can feel like yourself again, so that you can recognize yourself in the mirror, so you have more good days, so that you have more consistent, sustainable energy throughout the day, better mood stability, less digestive discomfort and bloating. Like all of these things, reduced joint and muscle pain, improved sleep quality, healthier skin, fewer flare-ups. All of these are things that you want for you, I want for you. And in the Hashimoto's root cause reset, we are going to work to get you there. All right, the link, of course, is down in the show notes so that you can schedule your Hashimoto's root cause reset right now. And after you book that, would you do me a favor and would you leave a podcast review in whatever platform you use? Spotify, Apple, Audible, whatever you use, they all value ratings and reviews. So some of them just allow for stars, some of them allow for a written thing. Whatever you have time and bandwidth for today, would you take a couple seconds and rate and review? It really does help this show get pushed out to more people. And of course, I want you to feel like yourself again. And I also want this message to reach more and more and more people, because there are millions with Hashimoto's and they all need this message of hope. You can feel like yourself again, and there is a non-overwhelming way to do that. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Please discuss any changes with your trusted healthcare provider. To take your next step, join our school community and explore the courses available there. You do not have to figure your health out alone. So that is school, SKOOL.com, and it is the Health with Hashimoto's community. I'll see you next time on the Health with Hashimoto's podcast.